beaten, stabbed. There was even report of gunfire.
Don't you think it's fair to look at some coverage and say there's a tone? The tone was, of course, you didn't sit down and say we're going to put the Israeli point of view, but the tone throughout was that Israel had a problem. Not the people who were shot in the back of the head, but that Israel had a problem.
I think there are two things here. One is that, are you saying that actually we devalued human life? Because I don't think we did.
No, I didn't say that.
But I think it's legitimate to ask what the implications of this were going to be for Israel, which is what that question was attempting to do.
Tonight at 10, the Israelis under pressure after the raid on ships taking aid to Gaza. Hundreds of activists in the convoy were detained in Israel, including at least 40 British nationals.
They were pushing everybody and people running around, and they were hitting us with the back of their guns.
The Israelis are accused of carrying out a bloody massacre, but they claim it was self-defense.
Our planning for yesterday's interception was for a peaceful police operation. Our sailors on the job were told you are to use minimum force and maximum restraint.
The top of the main news was Mark Regev, unchallenged. Mark Regev, as you know, is the chief Israeli propagandist.
Mark Regev is a spokesman for the Israeli government. Now, you can describe him as a propagandist.
Well,
if
what
you
else
like.
is he?
Please
tell me.
Well, that's a pejorative way of putting what government spokespeople are. You know, they're entitled to express their point of view, and we have a duty to report it.
I'm afraid that polite view wouldn't be shared by the families of the people who were killed on the boat.
I absolutely accept that, and we have a duty to report that perspective as well.
Who's the Palestinian equivalent of Mark Regev, who appeared so often? Who's the Palestinian equivalent of all those mainly female Israeli spokespeople during Operation Cast Lead? Who was their equivalent, articulate in English, given a space right at the top of BBC News? Who is that?
I think that's a very good point. You know, who are those people? Yes.
Well, why hasn't the BBC...
But that's not our job to go out and appoint the Palestinian spokesperson.
But you say you're impartial. Surely you would find somebody to be, yes, Mr. Regev saying his say, but then his equivalent.
We do, and we did.
You don't, actually. You don't have an equivalent of Mark Regev. That's just not true.
Just because there isn't an equivalent of Mark Regev doesn't mean to say that we didn't allow those viewpoints which you've just expressed to be heard across the range of our output.
This was ITV News on May the 31st, using the same Israeli footage.
Filmed with night vision cameras, Israeli commandos drop from helicopters onto the deck of a Turkish aid ship, and violent clashes erupt.
The immediate aftermath of the Israeli attack on the aid flotilla in June. For one thing, the Israelis supplied doctored film, even with captions, which was widely used across ITV and the BBC. It was labelled, but the context of this, according to the Israelis, that their people who were attacking the flotilla were actually being attacked by the people who were on the flotilla. That Israeli perspective, propaganda, dominated.
Well, I don't think it dominated, but certainly the Israeli propaganda machine, as you well know, is very, very sophisticated, and in its own terms is quite successful on occasions. And yes, it is the case that sometimes media organisations fall into a trap laid for them by...
it's only sophisticated because we allow them to be sophisticated.
But again, you know, it's only when you can come to write the history of these events that you can see it with that hindsight view, when it's actually happening on a daily basis. You've got to be very careful what you do. When the story is over, and when someone has the time and brain power left to actually kind of write the definitive history of it, sure. Then if you got things wrong, you put your hands up and you say, well, at that time, we weren't aware of that, we made a mistake, that's you know, that happens from time to time.
People like the Palestinians can't wait. until someone writes a definitive history.
Yeah,
They depend
but-
on
but John,
they depend on
John, you know, you're-
they
you're
depend on
suggesting-
journalists
yeah, but
now.
well, you're suggesting that journalists can. That the job of journalism is to change the world. It ain't. I've got to tell you, even someone with your massive experience should know better than that.
No,
Our
I'm not
job-
saying that. You're
Our
saying
job is to make sure that the public who consume our news are as informed as we can make them, so that they can make their own minds up.
But viewers can only make their own minds up if they're given all the available facts. Graphic independent video was available on the internet on the night of the attack. 4 months later, a United Nations investigation described the Israeli attack as displaying unnecessary and incredible violence. 6 people were executed at point-blank range. The attack warranted prosecution for war crimes. This was only reported in a 12-second item on ITV News and completely ignored on the 3 main BBC TV bulletins and seen only on News 24.